Well, welcome to the Rhythm Kings Ensemble. My name is Napoleon Rebels Bay, and the name of the program is From Andalusia to Dizzy. And we try, with the young people especially, to show the connection between this North African rhythms, West African Bantu rhythms, into the Caribbean islands, up into New Orleans, how these five notes have still prevailed today. And they go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we try and show how the music is connected like that. It's basically, the program came out of a school ensemble that we put together. And I'd like to introduce you to everybody. We have Mr. Brian Carrot on vibraphone. Ashima Desaburo on bass. All the way from Russia via Brooklyn, Misha Siganov on piano. So the music starts with this gentleman named Dizzy Gillespie, as most people know. If you raise your hand, you've heard of Dizzy Gillespie. Some of the people have, some of our younger people haven't, but he had this long horn that would go up in the air like this, and his big cheeks that would pop out. And it is said that he had a great conguero, which is the name for a conga player, by the name of Chano Pozo. And Chano Pozo was one of the first to, see, this is my Cuban family came in the front row, so if you hear them yelling and screaming, raise your hand, raise it so they know, He came in and he said, look, I got some claves. I said, oh, he's ready. So in any case, the interesting thing when Chano Pozo actually came from Cuba, I think he was born in Matanzas, am I correct? I think he was born in Matanzas. So when he came to the United States, he could not speak any English. And Dizzy Gillespie could not speak any Spanish. So that made it real good, music back and forth. But what happened was he would wind up humming the melodies and the bass lines and things to Dizzy, and that became the fusion, at least in the United States, of this Afro-Cuban music, the merge of jazz and Afro-Cuban music. So he would sing the bass line, biba ba 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 biba, biba da yeah. And then he would hum the harmonies and sometimes the melodies. Oh, I like that already. He said all over. And then to play the melodies, of course, we have Mr. Brian Carrot. I like it already. But it's missing one element. Back 3 on the drums. So here we go. This is Dizzy Gillespie, wrong version anyway. Dizzy Gillespie, man, take up. Our journey begins, and people see me wearing fez, and they sometimes ask the question, what does that mean? What does it represent? Well, it's actually the Moors that were in Spain. And prior to that was actually the Moabites that happened in the northwest and southwestern shore of Africa. But the time that we're starting is about 600s. Is anybody here born in the 600s? No? Just checking, I don't know. They might check me on my history. So from the year 600 to about 1492, there became the rise of the Moorish dynasty in Spain. They call it Al-Andalusia, if you ever have a chance to go there. Toledo, Cordoba, and Seville. It's one of the biggest edifices that's still there today. The Alhambra is still there as well. They had running water, they had lights. They actually had sherbet at some points where the kings and queens would come down and have sherbet. And at that time, which is very interesting in our time in history, there were three major religions all living together. You know, that was basically Islamic, and there was Christians, and the Jewish there. Actually, when Queen Isabella and Ferdinand came about, does anybody know who Ferdinand and Isabella were? Maybe? Okay. Well, actually, when they came about, that's when the turn of the century began, because actually the downfall of the Moors happened at that point. And therefore, the Spanish dynasty would rise over the conquistadores, and it would come out. And unfortunately, sometimes it would decimate certain edifices around the world, because the Spanish at that time had to have a new form of revenue to finance their expeditions. And there was this great explorer that everybody knows about, named Christopher Columbus. Oh, you've heard of him? You've heard of it? Yes. So he was commissioned by the king and queen, you know, to go out, and he had, everybody knows this part, 3 ships. Name me just 3 ships. We're in the library. So you guys know all about that West? Yes.
There were 4.
Yeah, so actually he said it was actually 4. So they went out to find new forms of revenue, and he landed his ships in what port? Let's see, where did he land his ship? In what port?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, no. The king's gonna get kicked out of the libraries in Brooklyn. No, he landed his ship in Brooklyn. Where did he land his ship?
Was first.
Yeah, the first and second expedition, where did he land his ships? What part?
West Indies.
Bahamas. The Bahamas? Where in the Bahamas? Where no one knows? Wow.
San Salvador. Jamaica?
That's El Salvador, maybe, okay. Actually, they're the island of Cuba. Yeah, around the island of Cuba, right? So actually, when they formed, you know, he took out his ship, and of course, I claimed this land in Espanol. But of course, you know, the Indians were like, what? But in any case, they didn't know. And actually, the second expedition, unfortunately, they were wiped out. That's the beginning of what we call colonialism, and this big migration of slaves. Not a huge migration, because the Moors were still here up and down the mighty Mississippi River. But in any case, the fusion of the music came about at that point, because of the downfall of one, the rise of another. Because, you know, we have things like the lute, actually came out of Espanol. So it's very interesting how we put this music together that we know as American popular music. And we're going. I'll give you a brief rundown if you're not familiar with American popular music. But growing up in the city of New York, I used to hear this rhythm all the time. Same 5 notes, right? 2, 3, 4. And we're like, oh, wah, 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 wah. So I said, well, that must be the wah, wah, go. They said that's true, but it's actually the rumbas, from the African word rumbas. Today I get called the rumba. Everybody heard of the rumba? Well, if you haven't, you will know today. Because today we're going to play for you the uniondale rumba. Are you ready? Now the way the rumba goes like this. Now we need some audience participation. Are you ready? Okay. I'm going to give you in fact, let's do this. I need some brave people to come in front of the stage. No one wants to come? It'd be very easy, it'd be very easy. All you got, see the rumba, which is a very interesting dance, it means to get down. So all you got to do is turn around and move around. Nobody wants to do that? But the music if you turn around. So, are you ready to hear the cue? The cue for you to clap along. I'll tell you when to clap. It goes like this. I'll go like this. See, she got it right. Okay, you ready? Don't clap the rhythm, but you just clap like this, okay? I'll show you. So you ready? I get the cue. Go like this. Oh, you did Roomba. You guys are pretty good. You guys are pretty good. I can do a Roomba. So this Roomba rhythm, this is because, you know, on the Cubans, that they put this rhythm together. Out of Cuba came a lot of dances too. And I'm going to skip just a little bit, maybe go back to it later on, but out of this 5 notes out of Cuba, I remember hearing things like the cha-cha, and the merengue, and, but the United States, it changed a little bit to a shaving, a haircut, to this, shaving, a haircut, to this. And in New Orleans, very fortunate for me, that's where they put the drum set together. You know, so we have the large, but medium tom, large tom, bass tom, and my favorite, which is this guy. Oh, I forgot about my bells. But my favorite is this guy right here, because in New Orleans they had this drum called the snare drum. And growing up, I had to learn how to play different rhythms. And one rhythm I had to learn was a paradiddle, 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 paradiddle. I had to play things like around the cue, around the cue, around the cue, around the cue. And the favorite that my mother really loved was the flam. My mother said, you play that flam all the time, son. So I had to play the flam. But then, like most of us, we had dogs, and they go, ruff! But in New Orleans, this is very interesting, this gentleman by the name of Louis, what's that guy's name? Louis Armstrong. I'm glad you guys are here. Louis Armstrong would come up in this New Orleans rhythm. Fellow people play something that I think everybody knows. You've heard the Saints Go Marching In?
Oh, yeah.
And the interesting thing about that rhythm and that dance was because that was in celebration of people passing on. The Saints Go Marching In. So we're going to play for you our version of Saints Go Marching In. And to give you an idea, I'm going to start with this guy right here, snare, right? Armstrong gave this music of the mighty Mississippi River. Blues, gospel, jazz, this jazz music. One of the great musicians that came out of the spirit. There's many, many, many. We're going to play a little Duke Ellington for you because I like him. And then I want to take you back to the island of Cuba for a minute. But we're going to play some Duke Ellington. He used to write a lot of music. He has written a lot of music. And one he wrote about a train. They call it the A train. You've heard the A train, right? Out here we call the Long Island Railroad. But we're going to play for the A train. It sounds something like this. I gotta get some, does anybody know how to do merengue? Before we leave, we're gonna do merengue. As you can't leave, we're gonna lock the doors. So, moving right along. I'd like to play a ballad for you. It's called Bésame Mucho.
Oh, nice one.
Morning. We're going to play another piece for you by a gentleman, Horace Silver. And Horace said a few long ago, it's my friend out there, he's talking. I hear you. So we're going to play you a song for my father by Horace Silver.